Larry Fitzgerald is coming home to check out his hometown U.S. Bank Stadium. Let's talk about it.
Skol Vikings, let's win this game. Skol Vikings, honor your name.
So, just like every preview I've been doing the last couple of weeks, I like to start it with reviewing the last game, just talk about the little things, but it's been hard lately. It was an idea I thought of when the Vikings were 5-0, and maybe I should have not had that idea, because ever since then they've lost every game. As you guys know, it's been a disappointing stretch for the Vikings. Sky high hopes to start the year, down to will we even make the playoffs. But to recap the Vikings-Redskins game, stat-wise, it was very close. First downs, we had 22, they had 23. Total yards, we had 331, they had 388. We had 4 rushing first downs, they had 6. We had 2 first down penalties, they had 0. We were 5 for 11 on third down, they were 6 for 12. We were 0 for 1 in fourth down, they didn't have an attempt on fourth down. For total plays, this is where it's very, very strikingly close. Total plays 64, they had 62. Total possession, we had 30 minutes and 4 seconds. They had 29 minutes and 56 seconds. Very, very close across the board there. Total drives 10 apiece. Yards per play, we had 5.2, they had 6.3. We had 284 passing yards, they had 260. Bradford was 31 for 40, a very good day for Bradford. And Cousins was 22 for 33. We had 6.6 yards per pass, they had 7.6. We had an interception, they had none. But we did give up 3 sacks for minus 23 yards, they had 1 for minus 2. Rushing, this, as you all know, is the Vikings' downside. We cannot run the ball all year. This is another example. Against an average run defense, we did not get it done. Rushing attempts, 21 for 47 yards, only netting 2.2 yards a carry. They had 128 yards rushing, 28 attempts for 4.6 yards. 4.6 is still pretty average, but you expect our defense to do better, as they gave a few big runs that just really extended that. So that was the game, and oh man. Where do we start? Another injury on the offensive line. Looks like Jake Long is done for the season. I would expect his career to be done with all of his knee injuries. He's had a decent enough career. He's had he had a pretty nice career. It was disappointing being a first overall pick, but you start a big chunk of your career. You can't say it was all for naught. As your NFL caliber left tackle, he got it done, but not first overall pick. But never will. Have a good rest of your life, and hope you have money saved up. Because I don't think he'll play another snap in the NFL. But that covers the Redskins game, so we can talk about the Vikings versus Cardinals, as you guys can see in the background. The Cardinals and the Vikings are two very similar teams, if you really think about it. They were both started out the year with sky-high expectations, and they both got humbled a little bit as the season's about a little over halfway done. They're both on the verge of losing any hope for getting into the playoffs whatsoever, when they both had hopes for the Super Bowl when the year started. The Cardinals, of course, lost a heartbreaking NFC Championship game last year. Larry Fitzgerald's a beast, of course. He carries his team, and they had talent around them. Their defense is really solid with the likes of Patrick Peterson and the Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu. So much talent on that defense. They had a nice trade with New England to get a pass rusher. Chandale Jones, I believe his name is. Oh man, hope I get that right. So you'd think they would be in a step in the right direction. Carson Palmer's been healthy. They have talent on the outside, but they barely beat the 49ers. They beat them by 3 points, I believe, 23-20. So this is as much as you'd think it's the Cardinals, almighty Cardinals, the Vikings might get blown out here the way they've been playing. I think there's a lot more hope than what meets the eye. This is a game, we need a game to bounce back on. This could be it for Minnesota, as of course they've not been able to run the ball, and that's been their biggest downfall as the season's progressed. Adrian Peterson started out the year horribly. A lot of people are just saying Adrian's done. What happened to Adrian? we're definitely gonna cut him. He's worthless. He's definitely not worth his money. And yeah, that's fair. He was averaging about 2 yards a carry, but then it stays just as bad with the likes of McKinnon, Asiata, and McKinnon and Hillman. Sorry, I said McKinnon twice. But I think the problem right now is I don't think McKinnon's that good. I think he's getting exposed a little bit, whether it's being the ankle injury he got a few weeks ago, or he's just not finding the holes and going for it. I don't think our play calling has been too much improved with Shermer, because it really got under my skin when the Vikings would run 3 times in a row. We run, get a few yards, then 3rd and 1, and we run again. 3rd and 1 runs haven't worked all year. We're one of the worst rushing teams in the history of the NFL. There's no way you do that. You can't give up on the rushing game, I understand that. But though, if I was in charge of the offense, which Mike Zimmer hit me up, dude, check me on YouTube, on VOZ, send me a private message. If we can do that, I don't say get rid of the running game all the way, but the way I would do it, first down, give it about 50-50 run pass. If you get yards through a pass on first down, make it about 80% chance run. Second down, if it's 3rd and short, I'd say 80% chance throw. You aren't going to get it, especially when teams, that's a running situation, so it'll be stacking the box anyways. When you have a hard time running, when you have the advantage, there's no way you're going to get it, that you're going to get it done, unless you do something different like the Wildcat. The Wildcat has surprisingly worked very well all year for the Vikings, and they do it only once or twice a game, but maybe that's why it works a little bit better, because you don't do it too much, and it's a change of pace. It spreads them out a bit. We can do a little read option type looks that really opens up some holes, which helps when your O-line is so bad. So as far as this game goes, it'll come down, how can we think of some way to incorporate our O-line just to help them out some, so we can actually run the ball, because running up the gut has not worked all year long. That's getting us to that 2-yard average. It's just not getting it done. I know that's the best way to run an offense, especially when that's the best way to do a play action type look. So because that's one of Sam Bradford's specialties, he's going to play action fake. And then he can find the likes of Charles Johnson or Stephon Diggs, Adam Thielen, Rudolph deep or medium to get big chunks of yards. That's what Sam Bradford is very good at. So if you can't run it up the gut, you might have to take that out of the equation as well, which does suck, but what are you going to do? I'd rather have a running game that can pick up over 4 yards a carry than just hopefully set up a play action, which I don't know how you're going to really have it set up when it's not a threat whatsoever. So I think we need to do pitches to the outside. That's what McKinnon and Hillman are very good at. You can run Asiata up the gut, because he can still pick up 2 to 3 yards, and that's good enough if you do that occasionally. But I would rather take my chance to the Hillman on the outside, get our linemen swinging out there, let our bigger receivers block, because putting Stephon Diggs in as one of the lead blockers is not a good idea. I'll let Patterson block, let Charles Johnson, Thielen, I think is an alright blocker. But you know who is a very good blocker? Probably our best blocking receiver on the team, Laquan Treadwell. That guy needs to start. He needs to at least be in the lineup, be our 3rd wide receiver or something. I think he should be starting alongside Stephon Diggs as the starting 2 receivers. If you really want him to, have Thielen start and have Treadwell be the number 3 guy, I'm fine with that as well. But Treadwell needs to be on the field. I don't understand why he's not when our offense is slumping. We need a guy, especially when our offensive line is hurting, that can win 50-50 jump balls, and that's what we signed. That's what we drafted. That's what we drafted him for. Treadwell, he's very good at that. That's why he's on the team. We struggle in the red zone. Treadwell's good in the red zone. I don't understand why he's not on the team. So for this game, if we get Treadwell in the mix, I see give us a really good chance of winning. He's a new guy in the mix who gives us a blocking on the outside, so we can do pitches and set that up very well. So Treadwell in the mix, get Stephon Diggs, keep that going with the short passing game. If we can get anywhere near 80 yards rushing, I really like our chance of winning almost any game, really. If we can get a decent running game, I really like our chance of winning. That's really what this game boils down to. Yeah, if we can get 80 yards on the ground, I think we're almost guaranteed 280 on the air, because Bradford does very good when he has time. The Honey Badger and Patrick Peterson will be very tough and very interesting. If they can take away our short passing game, we're done, really. If we have to rely on the deep medium passes and they just blitz us, we're done. That's why we need the short passing game to loosen things up and the little running game so we can get Bradford some time to do what he's very good at, and that's unleashing the bombs a little bit. Defensively, Larry Fitzgerald is the #1 guy still for the Cardinals. He's been there for over 10 years. He's a stud. That's going to be a very fun matchup all day. Rhodes versus Fitzgerald. It'll be very, very fun to watch on defense. I really hope that we can get the turnover. We can get more turnovers in this game. We had a fumble last game, but we've been lagging in interceptions the last couple of days. And definitely sacks. We've been barely getting any pressure on the quarterback, even when we blitz. We just can't. I don't know if it's a timing thing or we're just getting stuff if defenses are figuring it out. But we really need to figure out to get pressure on him because Carson Palmer definitely doesn't do well with people in his face. If we can get Everson Griffin or Anthony Barr in his face just to get a big body up there, then you expect him to throw it wild and let guys like Harrison Smith or Rhodes to come up with an interception. But we really need that pressure, so the defense is really going to have to step up because we need a big defensive showing and just to get us a W, to get us back in the winning column so we can get our confidence level up, and that will help up our team in the long run. So I think it comes down to final score predictions. The Vikings are at home. The Cardinals almost got lost to the 49ers. Before I look at that, I probably would have given the Cardinals the edge and predicted the Vikings the first loss of the year, even though I'm a very optimistic Vikings fan. But we're at home versus a team that barely beat the 49ers. I understand that we lost to the Bears, but I think the Bears are still better than the 49ers. The 49ers are probably the second worst team in the league. Of course, the Cleveland Browns are #1. But we're at home. Cardinals, we stop Fitzgerald, we limit their offense, which has been struggling. Only could score 23 against the 49ers with an awful defense. So I think Vikings run the ball a decent amount. They can throw it. They shut them down. I think this is the time for our defense to really show up. Limit the Cardinals to 13 points. I will win this one 13-17. A close game, but I think the Vikings defense needs to show up if we're going to win this game and limit them to under 14 points. So 13-17 final score. Tell me what you guys think down below. Tell me what score you think is going to be in. Do you think the Vikings can still make the playoffs? I want to know that down below. And of course, Bryce the Beast, I want to hear what you think as well. But we'll see you guys in the next game preview. See ya.